Well, hello and good evening. I kind of wanted to make this video just to rant a little bit about how much of a Halo fan I am, and I wanted to talk about Halo Infinite. I have just completed the game. Today is December 21st. Yeah, Matrix comes out tomorrow. I'm super excited for that. But today's December 21st. It's a Tuesday. Halo Infinite just released not too long ago, maybe November 18th, I think it was. And I've now completed the game and I wanted to talk about it. So, I also wanted to show off my cool figures that I have, of course, desired so much after getting into Halo again, at least really strongly all over again. These figures, I've always wanted them when I was a kid back in the day, but I could never afford them because I didn't have a job. And back then, they were probably $15, but I had to cough up like 120 for each one. But I finally have them, and man, does it feel good. And this is actually the new Halo Infinite Master Chief, which looks freaking awesome. The packaging is a bunch smaller. And he does look about the same size as the other ones. Maybe a little bit smaller, but super small box. There's the Master Chief from Halo 2, Series 1. The Elite, which in this video, he probably just looks like a regular figure, but in person, man, he is ginormous. He's huge. And then here's the Spartan from the original Halo. So I'll try not to drag this on too much. Of course, here are my games that I've collected over the years. I was blessed enough to have the opportunity to wait in front of Best Buy overnight, and I scored a Halo Special Edition Xbox Series X. This is the controller. I'm actually not going to use this. I'm going to preserve it. I have other regular controllers that I'll use, but this one, I'm going to just leave it in storage. This is a Halo Reach controller that I bought back in like 2012, 2011, when Reach was a thing. I saw this at Best Buy and I needed a controller, and so I have the back for it. It's just sitting somewhere else right now. And another little tip, do not buy aftermarket 360 controllers because they're just not worth it. This is an aftermarket controller. I just replaced the middle button and the color buttons with the official pieces. But what ruins this controller, as gorgeous as it looks, and as gorgeous as the buttons feel, and you would think it would play right, the joysticks are the biggest flaw in this console, in this controller. The joysticks move too fast. If you ever play a shooting game or something, you'll notice that there's no resistance, and it just moves so damn fast that you can't control where you're aiming. There's no resistance at all. Regardless, if you change the sensitivity in the game settings, this ruins everything. This is an official controller, and you'll feel immediately the joysticks are a lot softer, and there's so much more resistance and control. And that way you can control where you're aiming. Huge difference. Unfortunately, these controllers don't last very long, and the bumpers always go out, and the D-pad is mediocre. But don't ever buy secondhand like I did. It was a mistake. Official is the way to go. And man, the Series X controller is a beast and a blessing of a controller. This Halo one has special rubber grips. And this actually feels different from the regular Series X controller versus the Series 2. This is like in between. It's not like the Series 2 Elite, and it's not like the original. It's got its own flair to it. Anyway, so Halo Infinite. I've completed it, guys. This can contain spoilers, so just a heads up. I wouldn't watch this video unless you've just completed it, or unless you don't care about the story. I even wrote down a bunch of notes that I'm gonna go over about why I loved this game. Number 1, you can reload plasma weapons. You can reload any weapon. Like, how genius is that? I mean, if you have a plasma rifle, or if you have like an energy sword, or if you have like, I mean, any weapon, you can reload it just by walking over the weapon like you do with like an SMG or a battle rifle. And on all the other Halos, you know, they made it logical to the point where, you know, plasma weapons weren't powered by ammo, but maybe by like a source of energy. So their logic was, no, you shouldn't be able to reload plasma weapons. You should only be able to reload regular weapons. Although Nealers were an exception, I guess, always. But anyway, now you can reload everything, including energy swords, and that is so badass. Like, you can hold on to your weapon and just reload it, instead of having to switch one or the other, one for 20% versus one for 80%. That is so cool. And the beautiful thing about having a new game is that it's its own beautiful being. I mean, if you like or prefer, you know, the methods and the styles of some of the other games, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you can just go back and play that game and you will enjoy the quality of it. Every game is going to have its own stories, its own people that have worked on it, and its own beauty. Like, hate it if you like, but it's still amazing. Second thing, the enemies are extremely smart. When I played Infinite for the first time, I played it on Heroic, which I do regret. I wish I would. Because Heroic, I just died like a million times, and it was kind of a pain having to die so much. I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more if I would have just played it on normal. But whatever, I did what I had to do. I had to do a Spartan's job, and I'll play it a second time on normal to enjoy it a little bit more. But yeah, the enemies are so intelligent. Like, they will chase you, they will go after you, they will like flank you, you know, they'll throw grenades at you at the right time. The elites are just incredible. They're super strong. They're definitely a huge difference from the little grunties, and you gotta have guts to go up against an elite, honestly. And then the stupid freaking brutes, ugh, I love them. They're so amazing, but I hate them. They chased me, like, feeling like I was a little kid again, being chased, and ooh, it just gave me the willies, like that really weird tingly feeling where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to get caught, and you're trying to avoid them. A lot of fun, but really intelligent enemies. The Marines as well. The Marines are much more resilient, a lot stronger. They're very useful. You know, you want to spend the time to gather them, to get them to fight with you, because they kick so much ass and they can withstand so much more fire from the enemies. And they're even so smart to pick up better weapons on the floor. Like, if they see better weapons, they will swap out their crappy ones and get something better, which is so cool. Yeah, because I mean, in the older games, the Marines, they were a lot weaker, you know. I would love spending time to try to protect the Marines in the original Halo, and in Halo 2 I'll try to protect them as much as I can, but they would die like so quick. And then in Halo Infinite, it's just like, what a giant difference, you know. They last so much longer. And then the tools, like, I wanted to go over like the tools in Halo Infinite, kind of like the, you know, the grapple shot, the shield, the sonar, the shield that you could throw, being able to upgrade your shield, the fact that you could upgrade your abilities, that's just so awesome. It's just part of like evolving and growing the character, you know, kind of like upgrading your weapons and your tools. It's so much fun. You know, it's not over the board crazy like Final Fantasy or something, but they threw just enough in there to make it pleasant and to make it, you know, fun. And even after the game, after I finish the game, I'm still playing it to try to achieve like a perfect collection of all the cores to all the Spartan cores, so I could upgrade absolutely everything. So there's still playability even after you beat it. Versus the other Halos that are level based, and once you beat it, that's it. You just gotta start from step one or go play multiplayer. Damn it. Okay, and next I wanted to go over like the scripts. Like, you know, the things that the grunts would say, or the things that the elites or the brutes would say. The way they talk, the way they try to intimidate you, the way they try to get in your head. They're just so smart. You know, Cortana's cheesy, cheerful talk, like, you can do it, Chief, and you're here for us to save us, Chief, right? And save the world. Like, that's really cheesy, but it's cute. It's cute because she's a new character. She's the weapon, and she's more of a blondie bubblehead than Cortana, who's more serious and badass. They both have their personalities, so that's very cute. And the Marines have cool script, and I really liked the main enemy. I forgot his name, the brute, or that big dude with the teeth. That's like the main enemy for Halo Infinite. He was super cool, you know, his voice and his passion and bear your fangs, Spartan, you know, and stuff like that. The voice acting is really good, you know, just, you know, getting into it all and putting your headphones on and hearing all that, it just makes you get lost in the experience. It makes you feel like it is a semi-real world of its own. It's awesome. The sidekick, the pistol, oh my gosh. Here you can see it from the original Halo. And then here you see the little sidekick from Halo Infinite. That little guy, man. I love how they made him shine in Halo Infinite. Because in the other Halos, I mean, the pistol was good, like in Halo Combat Evolved, the original. And then for the other ones, like, I don't think the pistol was ever really useful. You really wouldn't use it. You always found a better weapon. But in Halo Infinite, I actually found myself choosing a pistol over many other weapons. Like, I had me a battle rifle and a pistol at all times. Like, that pistol saved me so many times. It's so powerful, so accurate. It's just amazing. I use it in multiplayer for sure. Like, it's a game changer. Instead of waiting for your battle rifle to reload, switch to your sidekick and boom, 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 boom. Kill confirmed. Suit design. Suit design? I was gonna go over the suit design? I guess so. Well, I guess that's another reason why I have my figures here. You can kind of see how, you know, the Master Chief's uniform has changed over time. Here you can see, you know, he was a little more blocky, a little more astronaut looking. And then here you can see that he evolved a little bit more into his signature badass kind of stylized look. And then here you see the Halo Infinite style armor, which is just awesome. You know, not a giant change, but just enough change where we're happy about it, and not too much change to where we'll complain about it. And you know, I really love that little thing in the back of Master Chief's head where he can insert Cortana. The fact that that's part of like the opening sequence of Halo Infinite is where you slide in the weapon in the back of your head and it says push in. It's so badass. Like, it just puts you in the zone. I wish they would have done more of that kind of stuff where you're like, push this button to do this action. you know, more throughout the game instead of just at the very beginning. That would have been a little bit more fun. I mean, I know you can do like open the doors and stuff like that, but you know, they could have done a little more. But I mean, regardless, it was still awesome. I wanted to mention, you know, the new format. Of course, it's extremely obvious that we're facing a new day and age, new format. You know, open world video games are becoming more popular. Back in the day, you know, in the Mario days and the Mega Man days, you would just go from left to right, and that's it. You would just get to the end of the level. And they still make games like that, like Cuphead, one of my favorite games of all time. I'm looking forward to the DLC. It's going to come out next year in June. But now things are changing. Now things are very open worldy. And they made Halo Infinite like that, which is so cool because we're very used to the Halo-based, you know, games, all the way to Halo 5. You notice that in Halo 5, they started introducing small scenes where you can walk among like civilians or soldiers or elites, where you would lower your weapon and you would not be in a stance to kill. You would just be walking around having a good time. And I really like that. I really do enjoy it. It allows you to kind of take a breather from all the killing, because, you know, in the other ones, it's just kill, 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 and that's about it. You're just getting ready to kill, which is, you know, pretty badass. I love it, you know, but it is really cool to take a breather here once in a while. It would have been cool if in Halo Infinite they added like a feature where you could lower your weapon or you could just not have a weapon. I think if you hold the Y button, you drop a weapon and you'll only be holding a single weapon. Whereas in the other ones, you're having two weapons at all times. Halo Infinite, you can actually just drop one of them, literally. I wonder if you can drop both and just have nothing and just walk around like that. That'd be interesting, just for fun, you know? Yeah, I think it's really cool, that open world kind of deal where, you know, you just have like objectives and you can just go from place to place. I don't know if it would be my favorite type of game. That kind of open world stuff, very Grand Theft Auto-y, where you pick up all the gangsters slash Marines and then you go do some objectives. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely pleasant to see new ideas being brought to the Halo world, and there is nothing wrong with that. That is so cool. They've dealt with level-based, now they're like, we need something fresh, which is okay, you know? And I hope they keep making fresh ideas for future games, because that's the whole point of making a new game for a different experience. Oh yeah, yeah, I mean, and going along with that, I just wanted to mention how loyal, you know, 343 Industries is with Halo Infinite, going back to the original games. Like, they did a great job. They're keeping the same characters, you know, same elites, same kind of uniform. They're not getting out of hand. They're taking this story into a much deeper realm, much more intensely. Strangely, it's working out. They're doing such an incredible job of writing such a deep story that just doesn't get tiring. Because, you know, in this day and age, creativity is decreasing, and we're seeing nothing but like remakes and remasters and blah, blah, blah. And when it comes to movies and all that stuff. But Halo just never fails to surprise and never fails to give you that pleasure of a new, fresh story. So thank you, 343 Industries, for, you know, working hard on this, taking on this responsibility, this challenge. Who knows what the future may bring, whether you will continue making Halo games or just decide altogether to start a whole new story and a whole new character and a whole new series besides Halo. I don't think it'll end anytime soon though, because they're just barely about to release a TV series. But you guys are doing a great job. You know, you're making our fans happy. My only complaint, honestly, is that Cortana is no longer sexy. I mean, Halo and Halo 2, Halo 3, you know, she was becoming more and more sexy, and then she peaked in Halo 4. She was just absolutely gorgeous. I'm over here like drooling over my computer screen over an AI like Ryan Gosling over Ana de Armas in Blade Runner. And then all of a sudden, in Halo 5 and Halo Infinite, we just see a desexualized Cortana. I've seen some posts online that maybe that goes along with the story, because Cortana's focus is now shifting about dominating the world or whatever, versus trying to get Master Chief's love and attention. But I think you should bring sexy back. Yeah. Why? Because, yes, I know we're in a more sensitive age nowadays with, like, you know, feminism and all this and all that. But I'm also a huge, like, Dead or Alive fan. And why do I play Dead or Alive over Tekken or Mortal Kombat or anything like that? It's because of the chicks. Like, it's fun to see, you know, cute girls in video games and wherever you go. It's just part of life and it's part of biology. And making Cortana a little bit sexier would have been nice. Would have been cool. You guys peaked it in Halo 4. Incredible. Bungie could never do it, and you did it in Halo 4 343. But I don't know what happened after that. Maybe you got too much bad attention. But we need to bring it back for the Halo fanboys. Because, yeah. Anyway. So, next subject I wanted to go to was... what is this? Damage? I'm trying to read my messy notes. Damage goes to vehicle. Oh, yeah. I noticed that when you're in a vehicle and you're, you know, driving around, flying around, and, you know, enemies start shooting at you, you don't take damage yourself as a character. Only the vehicle takes damage. So your shields do not decrease. But all of a sudden, out of the blue, you'll start to hear the vehicle like it's going to explode, which is perfect. It's fine, you know, like, and I really love that because it was such a crappy feeling when you're driving all badass and, you know, they shoot at you and you die and your vehicle is just fine. I guess that makes a lot more sense, but it's a change again. You know, in the old Halos, that was the way. This is the new Halo. This is the new way, which is cool. I dig it. I also wanted to talk about, like, the grunts. I absolutely love that they created different ranks of grunts. Like, I know that in all the Halos, there's really always been different ranks and stuff. Oh, and by the way, I'm waiting for my grunt Halo figure to come in the mail. It's gonna sit right in between these two somewhere from the original Halo. My little grunty. Grunts are my favorite. I love that they created different ranks, and especially like the white ones. The white grunts, they're like the Alpha Supreme grunts. They're so badass. They have better armor, they're better weapons, and they're more difficult to kill, unless of course you get a couple of good headshots in there. But I really appreciate that. And on a side note, one project that I think would be absolutely fascinating to consider, 343 if you ever see this video, which I know you won't, is to create a video game about the grunts. What if you create a video game about one grunt, and this one grunt, you know, you actually start diving into his personal life a little bit. You know, like what it is to be a grunt, what planet do they come from, they breathe that certain gas that they can't breathe in other planets. You know, build a story around him and his journey, and how he would live with his people, how he would fight for his people, how he would do, you know, different adventures, and then eventually how, like, they're discovered by the Covenant, and how they recruit them and force them to become like the grunts of their army. And then maybe even play like a few levels of like you're the grunt, you know what I'm saying, and you're playing a few levels where you have to fight against the humans and fight alongside the elites or against the elites, whatever it is. But a video game from the perspective of a grunt, that would be absolutely incredible. Because, you know, we're always the badass Master Chief, which is so cool, but from a perspective of the life of a grunt, I think that'd be incredible. Like a total game changer. Think about it. I think that's super cool. Because everybody just thinks very little of them. You know, we all shoot them like crazy, we all destroy them, and we think they're crap. Like, well, you're just the scum of the video game. And they're actually not, especially if you've ever played Legendary. because if you go up against like 3 or 4 grunts, you're screwed, man. Those little bastards have these needlers and the little pistols, and with your shields going down at every 1 or 2 shots, they will gang up on you and they will kill you so quick. But anyway, yeah, a video game about grunts. That'd be so cool. Next, what did I want to go over? Oh yeah, I think I mentioned it already, but the wanted list, like the bounties where it has like different enemies that have like elevated superpowers or shields or weapons, and you would have to go hunt them in Halo Infinite, and it's like a bounty. And I like how the weapon gives you like a background, like, oh, this one guy, you know, he killed so many troopers, you know, if you take him out, you know, it would help everybody really good. And then your reward is an upgraded version of that weapon, which is so badass. I really liked that. That was really cool. It gave me flashbacks of a Star Wars Bounty Hunter for the GameCube back in the day. I also like the characterizations that they gave to the villain, that they made him a sick villain. He was like coughing and wheezing and I thought that was a very interesting concept because I don't think I've really ever seen that in a video game before. It's very rare. And I absolutely adored that idea. Whoever came up with that was genius. Like, it even gives you kind of like a sympathy or empathy towards the enemy. And you kind of feel bad. You're like, damn, like this guy's like trying to be tough and strong and be a leader, you know, and he's like over here like sick and he probably has some disease or something and he's dying. But it doesn't matter. He still goes all out and he fights for what he believes in. And even though Master Chief kicks his ass, you know, the fact that, spoiler alert, the fact that the Master Chief, after he defeats him, you know, he's there with him and he comforts him and he's like, you know, in the end, you were just a soldier doing what you thought you needed to do. And I thought that was epic. Very cool characteristic they gave to that enemy. I think I went over all of the facts, guys. I'm really impressed by 343. I'm not a very next-gen gamer. You know, I have my original Xbox, I have my 360, and I was blessed enough to get a Halo Series X. And I haven't really dived into next-gen gaming much, except for like Dead or Alive 6 and Tomb Raider and Halo, and that's about it, honestly. But I've seen a lot of forums left and right online and on social media about how games will release and it'll be an awful experience because they need patches and updates and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons why I do not have Halo Infinite on the disc version. I don't have Halo 5 on disc version either. I guess I could get that one, but I'm not going to. My physical collecting will stop at number 4 because in my own little private world, Halo 4 is the last Halo because Cortana and John have like a little romance and it all ends there. They continued the story on, which is perfectly fine. But as for physical collecting, I'm going to stop right there. Because, you know, these actually came with a really nice case, artwork. It came with a booklet. It came with, you know, a manual with like pictures and backgrounds and stories. Whereas there's like a steelbook version of Halo Infinite, the regular box version of Halo Infinite, and it comes with absolutely nothing. It's just a disc and a little box. And I think that's absolutely awful, but that's just the future of gaming. Everything's downloaded now. I will not spend my money on that. I would buy like 2 or 3 copies of the steelbook if it came with like a really cool thick manual, you know, with extra content and stories and the way they describe the weapons and stuff like that. I'll even show you guys. For you young kiddos who have never owned a physical copy, there's probably a couple of you out there. You know, when you get a new game, it would come with like a manual. And it comes with like, let's see if I can find like one of the cool pages. See, number one, it comes with like a background story. The story so far, that is just so awesome. You get to read into it a little bit more. It shows you like the different screens. It shows you the different characters, and it gives you stories about them or whatever. It introduces you. It gives you like a profile. You know, you can tell that there was so much care and love given. You know, it even talks about your armor. This allows you to just dive into the game and be that much more involved with it. You know what I'm saying? There's this really cool page that goes over like the weapons and stuff. This is absolutely beautiful, you know? You know, it wasn't too common that people would really read these, you know, before playing the game. But I did get around to reading them here or there. And it just makes buying this physical copy so much more worth it. Instead of just getting, let me give you an example of what we have nowadays. You know, we have this, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go to the store and I'm gonna buy it. What do I get? I get the disc. And it's like, well, okay, thanks. I guess I'll find a manual or tutorial, you know, in the game. And it just doesn't feel as lively. And I really do hope that manuals make a comeback, because they're a huge game changer when it comes to buying the physical copy. And I also, from what I understand, is that they released Halo Infinite on a disc, but the full game is not playable on the disc. You will need internet access, regardless if you buy the disc or not, to download updates and patches and all that nonsense. And I guess it has to do with, you know, the Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility. In other words, now that we're diving into more powerful realms and engines and computers that are producing more powerful capabilities, we're simply just going to have to adapt, and all of it is just not going to be able to fit on a cartridge or a disc like it used to. I hope they fix that in the future, but if they don't, I understand, but I will not be buying physical copies of that. Anyway, guys, I think that brings my Halo rant to a close. I'm definitely a huge Halo fan since day one. Since I was a kid, I would play Halo all the time, and I would play it on the PC, because we would have internet, I think like net zero internet or something, dial up, and I would connect and I would play online with other people, and I just had the best of time. It was game changing. And then I remember living on the military base, because my father was in the military, and I would see all the young military kids renting out like the consoles at the library and playing Halo 2 when it first came out in 2004. Just epic times. And to this day now, I'm still playing Halo, and I love it. And I'm sure you guys do too. So greetings to all you fellow Halo lovers, and I hope you guys have a blast. Let's see what the future has to come. And yeah, talk to me, leave some comments, and tell me what you guys think about the game and stuff, and I'll argue with you about it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.